Welcome to another episode of the S.E.M podcast. Jack and Zach are here again, and we're joined by Devin Goodwin. How you doing, Devin?
Good.
Good.
How are you doing?
Where are you calling from tonight?
Oh, I'm in Lehigh. Well, I guess it's kind of Highland. So that shop is Highland, but where I'm sitting is Lehigh.
There we go.
Yeah.
Nice. That'll work. All right. Well, Devin, start us out with how you ended up in Scotland, how you got your call.
Man, so I was, I didn't know if I was going to go on a mission or anything. And I just thought, I gotta make my parents happy and gotta make the family happy, and set a good example. All my two brothers went. I can't be the one that doesn't go. And, so I was expecting to go somewhere, probably stateside or something like that. My brother, Sean, opened up his call, and it was Sydney, Australia. And then, had issues with his visa. And so they ended up changing his mission to Boise, Idaho.
Thanks.
So that was kind of funny. So he was there for about, he was there about 6 months, and then he finally made it out to Australia. And then my other brother went to Venezuela, and President Chavez went crazy. We all know that fiasco. And the North American missionaries got kicked out of Venezuela. And so they put him, so he was in Caracas, and then they put him in Curacao. It's part of the ABC Islands by Aruba. And they put him there because it's still part of the mission. And so, and then they couldn't fly him back for zone conference. So then they ended up sending him to Puerto Rico. So he learned Spanish, Pipiamento, Dutch on his mission. And so I was thinking, okay, they all have something cool. I know I'm gonna be the one that really goes to Boise, and we opened it up. And I'll be honest, I didn't even know where Scotland was on a map. Honestly, that's how green I was.
You're not alone, Devin. I can assure you that.
Yeah. Yep, that's for sure. All right, and you said that was 2006. What was the time frame?
That was in May. I got my call, I believe, in March. No, maybe February or something. But yeah, somewhere around. I don't know when I got the call, but I know I went into the MTC in May.
So May. You left in May.
Yeah, I left in May, and went to the Preston, England MTC with the group that was with you. In fact, you guys just did Brady Cassidy. I was part of that group with him and Elder Ray and Quinn Coford.
All right. Very good. All right. We'll skip ahead now. May 2008. What have you been up to since you've been home?
Oh man. I've been up to a lot. So I got home, and unfortunately decided to see how the other half lives, and I justified a lot of things in my head, that, they're good people in Scotland. They drink, they're fine, and whatnot. And so I started doing the whole fun stuff thing, as you quote unquote would say, fun stuff. And then I kind of fell away and stopped going to church, when I was 21, honestly. And then kind of been going here and there and like come and go there. And then, been doing a lot of, I had a little concrete business at one point. And then I had a little handyman business called Lisa Husband. And then I had, so I did that. And then I started getting into software sales. So I started with Domo, and then started doing the software sales, and then started selling a lot of other things and started traveling. And then, so, most of my career has been on the road. And over the last, I would say 5 years, I've had the unfortunate privilege of visiting every state in the United States with, many of them multiple times.
Man, that's awesome.
No,
and crazy.
Hey, well, you know what? The only reason I went to Alaska and Hawaii is my parents. So there we go.
There you go. Those are good reasons.
Everything else will work.
Yeah. And you said you got a couple kids?
Yeah, I do. I have 2 kids. So I got home from my mission, when I had my concrete business, met my then, ex-wife. It was my ex-wife now. She, we had my daughter, and then we had my son, and then we, didn't work out for a number of reasons, and went our separate ways. And then I got so in 2016, I actually got granted full custody of my kids, and they were just, one of them was still, then they were both basically in diapers at that point, but now so I've raised them on my own, and then tried to get married again in 2019, and that didn't go too well. It wasn't for the right reasons, and but it was short lived, and it was easy. We didn't have any kids or anything like that. And then again, just selling and partying and being stupid. And then just barely in November, I had an accident that landed me in. It actually killed me for a minute, but due to the hospital papers. But I was in a coma for a couple of days, in the hospital for a month, and just under a month. And I had to go up there, had to like teach me on my own how to like walk on my own and balance on my own again, and all that crazy stuff. And I had fallen down some stairs, and it wasn't due to like drinking or anything like that. People said, you weren't drunk or anything like that. But apparently I hit my face and broken orbital floor. So I have 3 plates on this left side of my face, and then I have screws in my jaw here. So it broke my jaw. So it broke all the way down through my orbital floor and my face. And then so that was that. And then got out of the hospital, and because of that, I lost my job. And it's fun when you don't go into work, and but getting back into work, was the tough part, but anyway, so then I just barely got back into work, started doing one thing I started doing again. But what was crazy was when I came back and I started drinking, I didn't realize alcoholism had ran in my family, and back in the day. And it hit me, it got me. And pardon my language, but it grabbed me by the balls. It really did. It's a very, very scary, scary substance. And I'm terrified of people that haven't tried it, that are willing to take that risk. I got very, very fortunate that it was nothing on my own. But do you remember when computers came out first, the household computer, and it would go haywire, and if it had a problem, you just have to unplug it and plug it back in, That's what God did to me. Yep. I came out of that coma, and no craving, that happened over a decade. I was a severe alcoholic. I was drinking about a half gallon every day and a half to myself, right, of vodka, and easily a 12-pack a day by myself, easily. And so I couldn't stop. I had tried, and I couldn't stop. I went into rehab in 2018. I lasted in about 120 days sober. Couldn't stop, kept trying, couldn't stop. And I woke up, nothing. It was gone. Craving was gone. The temptation was gone. The desire was gone. And I've talked to doctors, and I say, I'm intrigued because I've never heard of that before, ever. And I can't explain it either. And I'm just very, very lucky. But that was the most recent crazy thing to me. And since this is the S.E.M podcast, because when I came out, it wasn't like I was like, oh, I got to go back to church or anything like that. I just came out, and my brain was like, oh, well, it's Sunday. I gotta go to church. I'm like, oh, I'm in the hospital. I can't go to church. I'm like, oh, well, it's the first month I got to pay my tithing, and I'd never paid my tithing before, ever. And I didn't have a job. I was on unemployment for $661 a week, which is peanuts, right? And that's the perfect excuse to say I'm not going to pay tithing. But like, I just, I got to pay my tithing, and I never did that before. And fast offerings, I never did fast offerings. If I did it like $5, I'm not going to spend more than $5 on a meal for myself, right? But now it's like things were just different. And when I got out, I just started going back to church, and I've been going ever since. And it's been crazy, because it wasn't something that I thought, life's too short and yada, yada, yada. It's just, there's something that I have now that I didn't have before, that I feel. And there was an instance, and I'll save that for a later date, of a memory that had happened during the accident. It was only a memory I had, but it was, there's no denying what I know now. And so it's pretty crazy, because I was as far off as you would imagine, you know. And I didn't think I'd ever stop drinking. I didn't think I could.
Wow.
But yeah, it's crazy. Anyways, that's been the story of my life since the mission, and now I'm back in work and trying to build back up to where I was. But
Yeah, man. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. That's really vulnerable of you, and I'm, you know, having a hard reboot. Yes, that's wild, man.
Yeah,
That was an incredible story, Devin. Thank you.
So, how old are your kids now?
8 and 10.
Nice.
Yep. My daughter just went into 5th grade. My son just went into 3rd.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go back then, May 2006, and you can talk about the MTC, companions, areas, however you want to roll through it. We'll just go with your memories. So,
yeah, that was a lot of fun. I actually talked about it today with my girlfriend. We were discussing some things, and it's pretty wild because Brady Cascade was just on the one, but he was my missionary or my MTC companion, and he. I remember his flight over. He was in a back brace because he had broke his back. He was in a back brace, and I was talking because I travel for work, right? And so like I'm the guy that I board the plane very last, very very last, because I know when I board the plane, if I'm last, they're going to shut the door right behind me because they close right at that time, right? And so I just board off last. I'm always in the very front, so I get off very first because I hate being on a plane. Can't stand traveling in annoying clothes. And I was like, man, I couldn't even imagine. I was talking to her today. I was like, I couldn't even imagine traveling, because she said she saw some missionaries in their suits. I'm like, I couldn't even imagine traveling in a suit even to California in a plane. and then I was talking about Brady. I was like, he was in a suit and in a back brace, and he was sitting right next to me, just like this the whole time. I'm like, that's like 7 hours. Holy cow, trooper. And so then, so then he was my companion, which was really fun. We were in there. I think Quinn Colford was in there too, in the room. And we goofed, we played a lot. We had a lot of fun. We were a rowdy crew for sure. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. And then, that was the MTC. I do miss strolling around those temple grounds, though. They were pretty.
Yeah, agreed.
All right. So then up to Scotland.
I remember my first area was Dumbarton. Have you guys reached out to Brennan Fish?
Oh, he's been on.
Has he done it?
Yeah.
Yep.
He's an earlier one.
I better watch. This is my son, by the way.
How's it going?
I just went to the carnival.
Sweet. Love it.
They said, sweet, love it. He can't hear because I'm in my AirPods.
Hi, Bo.
But okay, bud, I'll be in a minute. Okay, love you. Yeah, so I got to go back and watch a bunch of those. But yeah, I was with him in Dumbarton. But before we were able to get our flat, we had to go to Rutherglen, and I don't know if you guys know where Rutherglen is, but it was north of Glasgow. It was pretty gnarly. Knightswood or something, I think, is what something.
Yeah,
anyway,
that's right.
But so while we were there for a little bit in a trio, or I can't remember what it was, but it was I remember it was funny because when I got there, they said, all right, well, let's all kneel down and bless the food. And they opened up all the cabinets and in the cupboards, and we all held hands, and we just bless it before, pre-bless it. And I was just like, what is going on? Like, where am I? Like, what am I doing here? I couldn't understand anybody. I was on the train over to Rutherglen with Brennan Fish, and I was like, there's some Neds on the train, and I'm like, can you understand what they're saying? And he's like, yeah, every word. I'm like, no, you can't understand. He's like, yeah, I can. And I did not understand a word for like the first couple months.
Yeah.
Like it was crazy. And some you could, but those Neds were tough. They were tricky. But then we got up into Dumbarton, and that was a beautiful, beautiful spot. That was probably one of the most beautiful spots I served, was Dumbarton. Yeah, we were in Balloch, right next to Loch Lomond, like walking across the street to Loch Lomond. Just amazing.
Awesome.
Incredible.
How long did you serve with Brennan?
6 weeks, I think, is all. I didn't have many long companionships. I mean, I had a lot of companions. I had Brennan Fish was in Dumbarton. He trained me, and then I had Brian Barber in Dumbarton right after him. And
Yeah,
then
he's been on too.
He's been on.
Oh, is he?
We'll let you know which ones of your companions you got to catch up on.
Yeah, that's right. So I'll just shout them out really quick, and then you guys can ask me questions of where they were and what was going on. And then after that, I got shifted down to Rutherglen with Cameron Loganberg.
Yeah, he's been on.
Yep. And then I had Brian Black in Rutherglen with me, south of Glasgow, right by the Gorbals.
Nice.
It's a beautiful spot. And then I went up to Dundee, which is one of my favorite areas, obviously most people's. Joseph McLean in Arizona.
He's been on?
Yep, from Joseph City, right? Or no, something like that. Snowflake or something. I can't remember. Then Jason Canucci, Springboig, back to Glasgow. And then Egbert Huber, Huber. He was from Vienna, Austria.
We've heard his name.
Yep, that was in Springboig. And then I got back up to Dundee with Anthony Paternoster. The Dundee Lift 2. That was with Anthony. And then there's a bunch of fun stuff in there. There's Tyler Webb. He was in there with us. We did a trio there, I think. And then I had Elder Stephen Jones in Dundee. And then I went to Sterling with Derek Willis. And then I had Trevor Chadwick in Sterling with me. And then I had Waylon Grantham in Cumbernauld. Cumbernauld was beautiful.
Crete, right? Yeah.
It was beautiful. Very beautiful.
I was there for 6 months.
It's funny because I'm just reading like from my in the very beginning of my journal. I just have some random things like written in like the very like not even on a page, like on the hard part, and it says 3 things that I learned on my mission: how to cut hair, how to do magic tricks, and how to play football, British football. Now, why did I learn these things? Because I wanted to.
That's great.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. There was a lot of fun things on my mission. Saddam Hussein was hung, so I saw that. Everybody glanced at that little metro on the bus seat next to you. And then this was pretty wild. This is something funny that was on my mission. Right here, I glanced over news around the world, and I'm reading. Well, I'm not reading. I just glance over, and I look over, and I'm like, huh. Oh, and I look back because I'm like, is that my cousin? Sure enough, that's my cousin Juliana. And America, a bride-to-be's parents have been charged with kidnapping her after she claimed they took her on a 300 or 240-mile road trip so she would miss her wedding. Juliana, Red 21, said her parents, Lemuel and Julia, spent the journey from Provo, Utah to Grand Junction, Colorado, trying to dissuade her from marrying fiance Perry Meyer. They deliberately did not return to Provo until after the wedding was due to take place. She had Ms. Red, who was since gone ahead with the marriage, said she fully supported the charges.
What?
That's my cousin. That's my mom's sister.
That's funny, man.
So
wow,
that was one of the crazy highlights on my mission. I was like, that cannot be true. And that's how I learned. Like when I spoke to my parents next, I had told them about it, and in an email or something, like, wow, like because I had found out just by glancing at a paper in Scotland. Like,
yeah, that's pretty random.
Yeah, it was pretty wild.
Wow.
But,
that is.
Yeah. So, yeah. So that was good stuff. That was fun. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We, I would have to say, I think one of my 2 favorite places were Sterling and Dundee. And I still keep in a lot of contact with the members with one of the members from Sterling, a couple members from Sterling, and a bunch from Dundee. And but yeah, there was there was a lot of good memories over in that neck of the woods on the east side.
Yeah, it sounds like you spent basically the whole time in Dundee and then Glasgow.
You draw a line from Dundee to Glasgow, Stirling, Cumbernauld. Yeah. Yep.
You almost had them all. Goodness.
Yeah, I didn't go north, didn't go south. I was just right down the middle. Yep.
Yeah, you were just stuck in that pipeline from Dundee to Glasgow, it sounds like.
That's right. I was stuck in that undertow.
Nice. That's awesome. Did you train any of those missionaries you mentioned?
I trained, I think it was, I think it was Stephen Jones, Elder Jones, I think.
This is for posterity's sake, so Brendan knows who his grandson is.
I wish I knew. I could probably figure it out, honestly. I have it in one of my other books, I think, but yeah, I can't remember.
That's right.
It's hard. It's been so long, man. Like I've been training 2 freaking human beings, and that's been a nightmare. No, it's not been a nightmare. It's actually been wonderful, but it's been hectic.
It keeps you busy, I'm sure.
Yeah, hats off to you.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, it's
big deal.
It's definitely a busy road.
Oh, I love it.
So you just barely caught the Brainses before they went home, right?
Yep.
Do you have any memories with President or Sister Brains?
It's a memory. I don't really have many memories of them, honestly. I have like a little memory. I just remember he was kind of like, right, and then they go knock on those doors, and
yep.
Yeah, I don't really remember much. I just remember it was like stone cold go knock on them doors. Yep.
That's the way it was, for sure.
Yeah. Chap in the rain until your wife gets hotter and hotter.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting to see President Frederick come in. I have a lot of respect for both he and his wife, but President Frederick, he turned that thing, like it was crazy. When I got there, I think they finished the year with 117 baptisms or something, and President Frederick was like, "Okay, this is not working. We're not doing it." He held it, and I've used this in business meetings. Like I was a motivational speaker for a while, where I spoke in hotel ballrooms all around the country. I've used this in groups of 200 plus people before. But he said, this isn't working. He says, how many doors does it take to knock on for you to get one baptism? This has stuck with me. And people are shouting out numbers, and he says 2,500 doors to get one baptism. He says, how many media referrals, a Book of Mormon, a DVD, something like that, to get one baptism? And I think it was something like 34. And he says, how many member referrals to get one baptism? And he says 3. And he's like, we're not knocking doors anymore. You'll knock a door if an appointment falls through, or a meeting with a member falls through, or something like that. You're going to knock 10 doors on either side, and you're going to go to your next meeting. You're going to be in the home teaching the members the restored gospel and ask for referrals. That's what you're going to do. And that was our mission. And we weren't really allowed to knock on doors. We were supposed to. If we didn't have anything else going on, we should be teaching the members, right? And then so I got there in 2006, and then the end of 2007, they ended, I think, with 254 or something like that, more than doubled. And then I think the end of the year, 2008, after I had left or something like that, I think they ended with 300 and some odd baptisms. It was just and it was just proof that teaching the members is the way to go, right? But on top of that, how important referrals are. Referrals are critical, even if it's just a media referral, but more importantly, somebody that knows. Even in business, and I always talk about this. I've been in sales my whole life, but people that don't ask for referral. If anyone's watching this or listening to this and you're in sales and you don't ask for referrals, no offense, but you're an idiot, because that's money on the table that is so free hanging, that's ready to break off in your hand. Like it is. And President Frederick taught me that the value of referrals, and I've used it and I've been wildly successful because of it. And it's just all about referrals, but more than that, doing it for the right person and for the right solution, right? Not just like, hey, I'm here to baptize you because I just need to get baptism, right? It was for a solution, for a right resolution, and things like that. So Zeke, go away. So yeah, that was pretty powerful. So I will say that with President Frederick, that stuck with me, and it will stick with me. And hopefully, in some of my ventures where I've shared that with others, it stuck with them too, because referrals are critical, especially when it comes to getting people even back into church. You know?
Yeah, we've heard, especially up in Dundee, that the stake president even said no chapping.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, it was Brother Keo, I believe, President Keo.
Yeah, President Keogh and President Watson at the time,
Oh,
I think is right. But yeah, they were in the presidency together.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yep.
You knew President Keogh better because he was in the Lift War. That's probably why he stuck to your mind, Devin.
Yep, that's probably true. Probably true.
Any other favorite memories of either President or Sister Frederick that you have beyond his turnaround of the mission?
I would say one thing that President Frederick told me when I was in my departing interview, he said, go home and marry someone better than you. Marry someone better than you. He's like, that's what I did. He's like, but make sure that you marry up. He's like, marry up. Don't marry even a level across, marry up. And I got home and I didn't. And obviously that we can see what happened. So that stuck with me too. And so now going forward, there's been a lot of things I've been looking for, and that makes it difficult, right? It does make it difficult. It presents an issue when you're supposed to marry up and find someone better than you are, and you're a scumbag, right? How are you supposed to convince them to take a chance on you? You know, like, I've got this history. I'm all tattooed. You know, I was an alcoholic, right? Like how do I find someone to take a chance on this dude? And this girl that I have now, this girlfriend I have now, is incredible. She's amazing. And I'm very, very, very lucky that I found someone that does not hold any of that over my head, that doesn't look at my kids as baggage, because she doesn't have kids, but she doesn't look at them as baggage, and plays them, spends time with them, she's sweet with them. So like I got really, really lucky. So this one, I would definitely be listening to President Frederick on that one. For sure. She's definitely a better person than I am.
Love that. Cool. That's great.
Yeah.
So go back to some of your areas and tell us, just memories you have in those areas.
Yeah. Oh man, there's some very, very interesting ones. I will always remember in Dundee, Mike Longmuir taking us golfing. He was awesome. He was a sweet dude. Had a little shop, fix things, and mechanic shop, and he was a really cool dude. But we did a lot of golfing over there in some really nice places. But we, I would say one of the coolest things that happened was going to to be able to go and play around on St. Andrews, of course, right, which was like the home of golf. I would say that was probably one of my favorite memories, was going to do that. Just because while we were there, I took it all for granted, and I didn't really, Haley, come here. I took it all for granted, and come here. I didn't really get a chance to like take it in. So I need to go back now. This is my daughter, Haley.
Hi.
Hi.
Looks like they've been having fun.
They have been having fun. Love you. Yeah, there's definitely there were some good memories in some of the areas. I think one of the craziest ones I remember was in Cumbernauld. We were teaching a girl there, Claire Gardner. And she had some issues, right? She was always in the psych ward and some other things. We were trying to help her out, and but she was kind of suicidal and things like that, and she'd cut herself all the time. And anyways, we had a really good relationship with her. We're teaching her and helping her, and she wanted to get baptized. And then there was just one night that I remember, like, I was like, I just had a bad feeling, you know, and me and Waylon Grantham were sitting in the house. I'm like, dude, we gotta go over and see Claire. Like, he's like, well, dude, it's way past our curfew, it's late. I'm like, dude, I don't care. Like, there's something itching at me. Like, we got to go check on her. And so we went out and walked across the road because she wasn't far, and the front door was locked. She wasn't answering. Like, in the world. So we walked around the back, all the huge buildings. You don't have to walk around a whole line of them. So around the back, and we could see that her back blinds were open. And I was like, her blinds were never open ever. And I was like, she's there. And I knew how she was, and I was worried. So we hopped the fence, and we actually went in because it was unlocked. Luckily, we went in and found her, and she was up in her room, and she was overdosing. And we called the ambulance, and they came and got her, and they took her and saved her life. But I just remember thinking, like, if we wouldn't have listened to that, like, we knew that, like, we had rules, right? But we also knew that, like, to listen to the Spirit, right? And
Yeah.
so we went there, and and had we not been there, she would have been gone. That was pretty wild.
That's crazy. Goodness.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can't say I had that experience in Scotland.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Wow. It is.
Yeah. Yeah, and I remember the night that Brian Black, we were on exchanges, and he was with another missionary, and some Ned just came up behind and clocked him over the side of the head with a golf club and just split his head. And we were right by the Glasgow Royal Infirmary, and so they ran across to the infirmary, and he got treated there, but it just had staples in his head, and like, yeah, like Brian could have been gone too. Yeah.
Yeah.
You were his companion at that point?
Yeah.
Holy cow. We've heard that story a few times, but not from a first person witness.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't, here's the crazy thing is, like, I was supposed to be with them, but they were on exchanges. And so I wasn't with them, but he called me right when it was, like, right after it had happened. And like, I'd gotten to him, and I'd see, like, the blood and all that. Like, yeah, I saw that. Like, it was crazy. It was wild. That was wild.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Are you still in touch with Brian? Because we'd love to have him on the podcast, and he won't reply to my messages I've sent him. I've got to find another way to get in touch.
Yeah, I've tried. I don't. He hasn't really responded to me either. But I'm really good friends with Tyler Webb. Has he been on?
He hasn't
yet.
Okay, he needs to be on. Tyler was one of those people on my mission that was very, very inspirational to me. Very good dude. And him and I are still really good friends to this day. Like, I mean, we went to Mexico together. I've been over there, hung out with him in Colorado a few times. I'm going to go back out and try to see him again here soon. But yeah, he's somebody you want to get on for sure. He's a good dude.
Where does he live in Colorado?
He's just south of Denver.
We'll go knock on his door.
I live south of Denver.
Southwest of Denver in it's what are those? It's a really nice area called
Littleton?
I think so. Yeah, I think it might be Littleton, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
You'll have to send me his contact details, and I'll reach out to him, because I live in Highlands Ranch. I'm not far away.
Yeah, he actually might be in Highlands Ranch. Honestly.
Even better.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna pull up my state directory right now. Let's see if he's.
That sounds familiar. I think he's in Highlands Ranch.
Oh my gosh, that would be a crazy coincidence.
If I'm not mistaken.
All right.
I'm curious to see if you're pulling it up.
This is how it works. See, you talked about referrals. This is our referral here.
That's right. I'm doing my duty. I'll call him right now on the phone. I'll make him answer.
I don't see I don't see any Webbs with Tyler as the first name. So maybe close, but not. He's not in my stake.
Yeah, he's over there somewhere. But yeah, you'll have to go knock on his door. That'd be fun.
All right,
I'll track him down. I'll send you his address.
All right, sounds good.
But yeah, I need to figure out how to get another S.E.M tie. I had collected all my ties on my mission. We know how that goes. I had left with like 254 ties. And I loved them. I had more than that. I had a tie for every day of the year. I had 360 something ties.
Yeah.
Wow.
So then I cut down a bunch of them when I came home. And then I was moving out of one of my apartments, and I was strapping stuff down in my trailer, and I set it on the top of stuff while I was strapping stuff down. I forgot it, and I drove off, and those ties are long gone.
Oh no!
So I know, and I want to get another S.E.M tie.
All right, well, we'll see if we can track one down for you.
Figure out how to. Yeah, that'd be great. I don't care about any of the other ties, just that one. But yeah, so that's been fun. It's been yeah. Oh, I don't know. Maybe some of you heard too. I did actually when I got home from my mission in 2008. In 2009, February of 2009, I landed a plane on the freeway. That was fun.
You got to tell that story now, Devin, because I didn't hear about that.
No one heard about that yet?
Not us, anyway.
Oh shoot! What was it? Dippold, he was a pilot too. Jonathan Dippold, and yeah, I remember at the time it was only me and him at the time, and I'm sure there's been others, but it was kind of fun to talk to him about it and all that stuff. But yeah, I got back, and my buddy in 2009, it was his birthday, and I wanted to take him out to Wendover for his birthday and do a little bit of gambling, whatever. And I thought Wendover would be fun because it's close enough, and when you land there, it's fun because when you trigger the lights with your mic, because that's how you trigger it with the channel on the mic. You tune into to a certain frequency and you click it, 3 times for low, 5 times for medium, 7 times for high intensity. But when you click it, you're in Wendover, it's like when you just kind of feel like it just feels really, really cool. You feel like a god almost. And so I was going to take him out there, and I got over to it, and I just had this feeling, man, I don't know about this. I'm listening to those feelings, right? And I was like, let's go through Class Bravo airspace. I'll let you listen to Salt Lake airspace, and you'll hear them. We'll talk some crap with the Southwest guys, and it'd be fun. And so he's like, okay. So we banked and we turned over, and I was like, that's I-80. I'll just haul I-80 back over to Salt Lake. And right when I banked and turned around, then it was like, blah, 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 and it stopped. And so I was like, okay, that's weird. That's not normal. So I tried getting it going again. It wouldn't get going. So I did the carb heat because I thought I had carb ice. And so, no, that didn't help. Then I pitched the nose down where you basically nose dive and it starts the prop, right? And that didn't help. Just lost, 1,000 feet altitude. And then I was like, well, Griffin, fasten your seatbelt really tight. Pull your phone out. I need your light because we're going to have to go down. We're going down. He's like, ha, ha, ha. I'm like, no, we are. I need your help. Tighten your seatbelt and pull your phone out. And it was before phones had LED lights. So I was using the ambient light from his Nokia phone. I'm holding it next to my instrument cluster, trying to see my altimeter, my airspeed, so I don't stall. And then I see a truck up there that I know is a semi truck because I could tell the light bar. I'm going to land behind that guy because I know his light bar is 13 feet off of the ground, right? When you have an emergency landing, you kind of shut off your electrical. You don't want to have an electrical fire, right? And so I didn't have any landing lights or anything like that. And I'm just going behind him. And when I saw I was kind of level with his light bar, I was like, that's 13 feet. I'll kind of get down and put it down. But right before, the lights flashed and went away, and then they came back, and I was like, that was really weird. I thought they were going to disappear forever, but I had just missed an overpass by like 60 feet that I didn't notice.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And then landed it. I didn't know that until the next day, but landed it, put it down on the freeway, and then that semi truck doesn't know that he saved my life. So there's a pickup truck that I landed over in front of, and he was like, man, I didn't know what was going on. He's like, I thought it was a plane, but he's like, then I thought it was a UFO because like I didn't see any lights or anything, any strobes, and he's like, but then I finally figured out what it was, and then he put his hazards on and got in the middle 2 lanes over I-80 so that no cars would hit me. So
Dang, man. That's wild.
Yeah. So that guy that rented me the plane got a 3rd-degree felony, a Class A misdemeanor. He'll never fly again. All of his licenses got pulled.
My goodness.
Yeah. That was fun.
I found where Tyler lives. He's in Castle Rock.
Oh, Castle Rock. Is it close to you?
Yeah, it's about 15 minutes south of me.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We could get him with Jack and I, and we could have a live guest on our podcast.
We'll go chap him.
That'd be pretty cool.
Dude, that would be fun. That would be way cool.
Tell him we'd love to have him. That'd be awesome.
Oh, for sure. He'd definitely join. For sure.
Cool.
I know he would. Yeah. But.
All right. So besides your companions, is there any other missionaries you served around that you want to shout out while you're on here?
There's a few people. Yeah. I definitely. There was just a lot of funny nonsense and things like that. But definitely had a good time. Anthony Paternoster had a really good time with him and Tyler when we were in that flat in Dundee. But I guess he was a companion. But I didn't really spend a whole lot of time outside of my companionships really a whole lot. I guess we did, but I did a lot of football. So we did that with all the kids and stuff like that. But I mean, Brady Hess, really good dude. Like Brady Hess.
Yeah.
He's been on.
Yep. And I saw that. And then, Sister Kemp, she was really cool. And Sister Ann Wellington, those two sisters were really cool. We had a lot of fun, had a lot of laughs. That was a good time. For sure.
I can tell you I've been in touch with Candy, and she was a scheduled guest, but had something come up. So we're still working on getting her back on our schedule. And then I've reached out to Ann, but she has not responded.
Ghosted you? Is it pretty tough to get a hold of some of these people?
I mean, sure. Let's be frank. Some of us are not as savvy on Facebook as some of our older generational people. So I got to find them on other platforms, but you know, we'll track them down. It just takes time. We'll get there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep,
it's cool.
That's great,
good. Man. Well, Devin, thank you so much for taking some time to come on and chat with us about the mission. We're so grateful that you are our brother in Scotland. We're even more grateful of the fact that you're alive and well after
thank you.
what was it had to have been a crazy experience that you never would have imagined that was going to be part of your life. So thank you for making that time to come on and be with us. We love referrals. If you share this with your friends as it comes out next week, we will certainly have any of your friends that you refer to us come on. We'd love that. And my challenge to you is download some of these podcasts and listen to them on your flights, because I'm sure you'll love every second of them. I promise.
Yeah, I will for sure. Definitely. And then, but I'm going to leave one word out there to anybody that's listening that catches this, that may be struggling with alcohol or substance. Like, I know that you really don't like doing it and you don't want to do it, but you can't imagine dealing with life any other way. But I'll tell you, like, having my mental clarity back and having my agency back, I'm no longer a liar. I'm no longer unreliable. I no longer have poor relationships with my family and friends. I feel better. I'm happier. Just people out there, I'm telling you, if there's anyone struggling with anything that's listening to this, I'm telling you, please, like, if not for yourself, for me, don't wait till what happened to me before you are able to try to fix it. Cause like, I know it's hard. It's really hard. And it's not something you can just stop, but there are ways, and you just got to take it seriously. And you got to remember that you are loved and you are valued no matter what. And there might be people that don't like you, and it doesn't matter, because there's a million other people that do. So just remember, those people are the people that are rooting for you. And if you're struggling, do it for them, do it for you, do it for all of us.
That's beautiful, man.
Amen to
Thank
that.
you.
Well, that's why we're here. I mean, we're a family. We're all brothers and sisters in Scotland, and we're all rooting for each other.
Yeah, and I'm an open book. Like anybody can reach out to me morning, day, night, middle of the night, and I will be there. Like I will be. Like, I know how hard it is, and I know how scary it is, and I know how embarrassing it is to talk. It's so embarrassing to talk about. But like, you can talk to me, and I won't open my word to anybody. You've got my word, and I'll help you in any way I can.
Thank you, Devin. I love you, brother.
Hey, love you guys.
Devin.
Thanks
Love
for having
you.
me on. We'll see you. Bye,
Cheerio.
Declan.
Bye.